friends! My name is Desiree, aka Mama Friendly, and I do all sorts of videos on my channel, from cooking videos to planner videos, vlogs, hauls, homeschool videos with a Disney twist, a little bit of everything. So if any of these things sound like fun to you, I hope that you'll subscribe and join me on my YouTube adventure. I'm very excited for this video today because not only is it my first collab of 2022, but we're bringing back an old favorite from 2021. My friend Tiffany at Small Town 6 has been hosting monthly food challenges all throughout last year, and she's decided to continue it into this year. And so to kind of get 2022 started off on the right foot, January's challenge is healthy foods. So basically, Tiffany is challenging us to create a healthy variation on a favorite recipe. Luckily for me, that's pretty much what I do around here. I eat gluten and dairy free, and I tend to gravitate towards paleo recipes as a result because they're already gluten and dairy free, so I don't have to adapt them. But if I come across a typical recipe that sounds really good to me, I can't just make it as is. I have to adapt it and make a healthy variation on it. As such, today I'm going to show you how I make keto tuna melts. Now, keto is high fat, low carb, and that's something that I also did for about 3 years. I'm a little looser with it these days, but I always did dairy-free keto, which means that not only was everything low carb and naturally gluten-free, but also I stayed away from things like cheese and heavy cream, which is something that most people doing keto typically embrace. So this recipe ends up being almost like a stuffed pepper, but I'm using tuna instead of your typical ground beef, and I'm making my own cheesy sauce using cashews, of all things. So this recipe is paleo, it's keto, naturally gluten-free and dairy-free. You can make the cheese sauce if you're vegan, and you can have the whole meal if you're pescatarian. I'd say I ticked a bunch of boxes as far as a healthy variation goes, so I'm feeling pretty satisfied with this one. Now, before we move on to the actual recipe, I do want to let you know that because this is a collab, there's a playlist. So if you look in the description box of my video, you're going to find the link to Tiffany's channel, and you're also going to find the link to this playlist. So that once you see what I've made, you can go into that playlist and see what all my friends made for their healthy food challenges this month as well. So now that I've given you the setup, let's go see how I made these keto tuna melts. We're beginning with our ingredients, and so I'm going to need 4 bell peppers. You need 4 cans of tuna in oil. I got 2 different brands because that's what I could find at the store. You also want 6 tablespoons of paleo mayonnaise. I have Primal Mayo back here. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 pinch of black pepper. I don't really measure spices though. A teaspoon of onion powder and a teaspoon of dried dill. As you can see, I have my own dill that I've just dehydrated. For the cashew sauce, you need 150 grams of cashews, about a half cup of a non-dairy milk, a lemon juiced, a teaspoon of salt, and a clove of garlic. So to start, you want to soak your cashews so that they're easier to blend. I've measured out my 150 grams of cashews with a scale, and I've got some water boiling here. I'm gonna pour the boiling water over the cashews, and while we prepare everything else, I'm just gonna let these sit. In the meantime, I'm gonna preheat my oven to 400 degrees. I've got a small cookie sheet here, and I'm just going to prepare it by putting some parchment paper down for easy cleanup. I want to take each of my bell peppers, and I'm going to slice off the tops and remove the seeds. I'm going to place the peppers top side down on my baking sheet and bake them at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. In the 10 minutes that the peppers are in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and throw together the stuffing. So I'm putting the tuna, mayonnaise, and all of the spices into a bowl and mixing until it's well combined. When the tuna's ready, you can just set it aside so we can start to work on our cashew sauce. I'm gonna drain my cashews that have been soaking this whole time, and I'm throwing them into the food processor. You can use a blender instead if you don't have a processor, along with the half cup of non-dairy milk, the amount of juice you'd think you'd get out of a lemon. I just did a squirt, some salt, and some garlic. I happen to have minced garlic always in the fridge, so I used that. I'm also adding a little bit of a secret ingredient, not really a secret, but an extra ingredient, some nutritional yeast. This is a vegan cheese alternative that gives everything a nice cheesy flavor. I figured it couldn't hurt, and actually I think it ended up being the thing that pushed this recipe over the top. I've pretty much just pulsed the cashew mixture until everything is smooth. And now that it's been 10 minutes, I'm gonna flip my peppers over. Maybe don't do this with your bare hands, but I did. And I'm going to stuff the peppers with the tuna. I pretty much just did one big scoop in each one and then went around putting in the extra till they were all filled to the very, very top. Once you've used up all of the tuna mixture, you can come back around with your cashew mixture and put a couple tablespoons on top of each pepper, spread it around evenly. We want to put our oven to broil now and put the peppers back in the oven, broiling for about 3 to 5 minutes. 3 minutes was just fine for me. You just want your cashew cheesy mixture to start to get a little brown and bubbly on the top. This was so quick, easy, absolutely delicious. 10 out of 10 recommend. All right, friends, I really loved how this turned out. I will definitely be making this again. The sauce was just the perfect flavor. I really think that the addition of the nutritional yeast made it. So even though it's not part of the original recipe, I definitely recommend you get some because it just brought a whole other level of savory to the dish. And then the tuna with the peppers was really sweet. It was just overall a very well balanced dish, super filling. They reheat well actually, because the next day I just stuck a couple more back in the oven and warmed them up, and they were just as good as they were the day before. So this might even be a good meal idea for like a meal prep. I'm really glad that I tried this recipe, and I think that if you try it, you'll be happy you did as well. So if you do, come on back and let me know how you liked it. And now that you've seen what I made this month, I hope that you'll check out that playlist and see what all my friends made as well. What's your favorite healthy spin on a typical recipe? Let me know in the comments. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope that you will please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell, because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. Bye.